What up? This is Finance, Fitness, and Folk channel. We discuss finance, a little bit of fitness, talk about some folk. So on today's episode, I'm going to discuss why taking responsibility is a male trait. So admin notes, thanks again to all the subscribe to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing the video out. Keep it leverage to better yourselves. So if you're new to the channel, if you just clicked on this video, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. If you subscribe after you watch the video, hopefully you get some out of it. So let's get into it. So why do I say taking responsibility is a male trait? Well, it is. In the video. No, I'm going to elaborate a little bit, but basically, I really there's not too much else to say about that, right? And not to talk bad about women. I know women watch my channel, but if I'm going to talk about a topic and a subject, I'm going to give all angles. So the male and the female perspective is somewhat touched on, because I don't want to have somebody confusing me or misconstruing what I'm trying to say in this video. I've had that happen before, right? Now I know I can't satisfy everybody, you know what I'm saying, but I'm gonna try my best to at least not have my topic so convoluted that you don't understand both perspectives. So when it comes to women, in my personal opinion and my experience, a lot of women do not like to take responsibility. They really like to shirk responsibility to somebody else or some other thing, right? And I honestly believe that that's a female trait because for the most part, if you really think about how, the male and female lineage for, hundreds of years, men are always the ones that take full responsibility for everything, whether it be the relationship, the household, all of that, right? The finances, you name it, So I don't think it's in a woman's nature to really take responsibility for a lot of things that they do wrong, right? And that's not to say anything bad about women. I just think that's just a fact of nature, right? So, it is what it is, what I'm saying? I still love women, I don't hate women, right? But, it is what it is. That's really what I see as it being. But men, on the other hand, like if you don't take responsibility for your own actions and your own well-being, then that's not a male trait. I know a lot of women and sometimes men would say that, you're not being a real man. I don't like that term because it's really subjective because, depending on where you live at in the world, what culture background you come from, who's to say that what you're doing is manly, right? Because what a man is from a perspective of the Indian culture is different from the American culture, different from the Asian culture, right? So I don't like that terminology when folks say a real man or a real woman. Like it's so subjective, it doesn't make sense to me. I like to say the terminology of a male trait and a female trait. What inherently a male and a female does, and from my perspective, women do not, they don't like taking responsibility for a lot of things that go wrong, right? But for men, we have no choice. We have to take responsibility for what goes right and what goes wrong, right? And if you're not in that space where you don't take responsibility for your actions, right, and you have a family, you are a liability to that family, to your family. Like, I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm gonna just keep it 100. If you're a person that do not like taking responsibility for everything that goes wrong in the household and the relationship, then that's just not a male trait. It really isn't. Now I do understand that depending on the situation, it may be to a certain degree your wife or spouse's fault when it comes to certain things. But as the man of the household, you still take on the brunt of the responsibility. It doesn't matter what she did. It really doesn't. One scenario is like, let's say you out and about in the street and something happens and your wife gets she gets belligerent, she gets out of hand, or in the conversation she may say something that is kind of off, like something that's not true. You don't scold your woman in public. You don't do that. You just don't do that. You take up for your woman regardless. She could be wrong as hell. You still take up for her. On the back end, when y'all get home, then you go to her and say, hey, baby, what you did was out of pocket, But you still defend your woman. that's a form of taking responsibility for your actions, taking responsibility for your woman, right? When you have kids that act up and are not acting right? What does the public say? What does society says? Or who do they look to, when children are not acting right? They look to the parents, right? Because they're looking at it as it must be something wrong with the parents because the child is not acting right. So apparently something is wrong with the parent. That's taking responsibility. They're putting responsibility on you because you're in charge of them, right? And as a man, you have to take responsibility for your household, right? Whether it be financially, whether it be spiritually, all of that, right? Let's give another scenario, right quick. So let's say that you're a football player, right? And excuse me, y'all, I'm really sweating. My eyes are starting to burn here, but I'm gonna still talk to this video, right? So let's say you're a football player. Let's say you're a offensive lineman, right? And you're a great offensive lineman. You're always protecting the quarterback, right? Like you like one of the stellar offensive linemen on that team, right? You're in the Super Bowl. You got a linebacker that's been hounding you the whole time. But you've been standing strong, standing on 10 toes, you know what I'm saying? You've been blocking this guy all night long, right? All of a sudden, one of the last plays of the game, right? The linebacker does some move that you didn't see before. You try to move around them, trying to make sure you block him so he don't get to the quarterback. And then all of a sudden, you fall awkwardly and you break your leg, right? You're not able to get back up to defend the quarterback, right? You cannot recover. Quarterback gets sacked in the game. You lose the Super Bowl, right? Now, because you broke your leg on that play, right? Which who would think that you would do something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, as a person, you're like, this is some kind of crazy freak accident that happened. But because the accident happened, you didn't protect the quarterback, and the quarterback got sacked. Hence, you guys lost Super Bowl because you needed this play to take off, and you wasn't able to block that linebacker. It doesn't matter what the situation was. It doesn't matter if you was a stellar person. Like I said, let's say a offensive lineman. Doesn't matter. If you was blocking this guy all night long, protecting the quarterback was good to go. The simple fact that you let him get by you and you broke your leg, doesn't matter if you broke your leg. Does not matter. Because he sacked that quarterback and y'all lost Super Bowl, they're gonna blame you. Society is gonna blame you. It's not gonna blame the quarterback. They're just not. You know what I'm saying? And it's so unfair when you really think about it. When you think about it from a logical perspective, it's unfair. But life is not fair, right? And when it comes to men, life is never gonna be fair for y'all. It's never gonna be fair for us, period. Life is never fair for men. We're always going to be on the back end of things because we always got to take responsibility for everything, for all our actions, everything. If your woman is taking care of the finances and for some reason something go wrong with the finances, guess what? It's still your fault because it's your household. Bottom line, this is the reason why I had that video a while back when I said 50-50 doesn't work. It just doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Because society as a whole, and just being a man in general, you know what I'm saying? If the finances go wrong, it's your fault. It's not your woman's fault, even though she might have been handling the finances, because the finances fail, it's still on you. It's not on her. It just isn't. So, I want men to really understand this concept, because I think this young generation here, they're really in a privileged situation, and they really have this mentality. This is just my opinion, right? Because I've seen a lot of folks that are my older son's age. He's 19. I've seen a lot of people from his generation that these young men don't want to take responsibility for nothing. You know what I'm saying? They'll put blame on everybody. They'll put blame on society. They'll put blame on their parents. They'll put blame on their friends, all of that. And I'm sitting here like, you know what I'm saying? You're not being a real man. That's not a male trait for you to shirk responsibility when it's really on you to make sure that you're the best man that you can be in society and for yourself. It's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? You cannot be in a dominant space and be a person that don't take responsibility. There's just no way of getting around that. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, there's scenarios in life that come up. You know what I'm saying? And there's some things in life that happens that you may not have no control of. I totally understand that, you know what I'm saying? Only thing I can suggest to you is, stay prayed up, ask God to give you discernment, ask God to show you the way, because life happens, things do happen. I totally understand that. But as a man, especially a man with a family, you have to take responsibility for everything that goes wrong in that situation, because you are the head of the household. You're the head. There's no way of getting around that. You know what I'm saying? And if you're single right now, without a family, you need to take responsibility for yourself, right? Don't have somebody take care of you. I said in a video a while back, don't move in with your woman. How is that being responsible if you live with your woman? Is that being responsible? No, it's not. I don't care if you got a job. I don't care if you're contributing to the bills. You're in a woman's house, not yours, right? So that means that she got the leverage, not you. Believe that. Somebody said in the comments, shout out to you. He said, has anybody heard this? This is my house. You know what I'm saying? And somebody else said in the comment that, you must have went through this, you know what I'm saying? Because you can speak about it well. I'm just paraphrasing what the person said. Now, I will say that I've never been in that situation. I just had a lot of folks in my family, in my circle that I've seen that happen to. Not to tell my business, but of course I was in the Army for a long period of time, and when me and my wife moved in with each other after we got married, right? Not before, we didn't shack up. After we got married, right? I had never lived with a woman because I was in the Army single. So guess where I was living at? In the barracks by myself. You know what I'm saying? The most I had was a male roommate a couple times, depending on where I was at stationed. But for the most part, I had never lived with a woman until I got married to my wife. So, I'd never been through that. But I've seen too many males in my life that's happened to. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't taking responsibility for themselves. They was letting a woman take care of them. That's not being responsible, man. It just isn't. So anyways, I don't want to belabor the video, but, taking responsibility is a male trait, right? So if you want to be a man, if you want to have a male trait, not a real man, but a man. If you want to be a man, take responsibility for your own actions, right? And don't put responsibility on anything else. You know what I'm saying? Take responsibility, because that's what men do, all right? If you want me to talk about a topic, do you think it's beneficial to the channel? Email me at finitefitnessfolk@gmail.com. My email address is in the description below. Finite Fitness and Folk, Triple F, I'm gone.